don't know. I honestly, I don't know. Can we finally just agree that Carson Wentz is pretty good? Can we finally agree that the Eagles are pretty good this season? That this, after all the mess of everything that happened the last few seasons, that this team is pretty damn good this year? That they seem to have gotten it right on the coach and right on the quarterback and right on the defensive coordinator and right on the players? I don't know what else they have to do to validate themselves. And if they didn't validate that after this game, they're never going to validate it. I mean, the old saying is haters going to hate. Well, as Ice Cube once said, today was a good day. Because the Eagles are 3-0. The Eagles defeated a team. Let's see. They haven't beaten anybody yet. Let's see. They beat the Steelers today. A team that a lot of people, myself included, have going to represent the AFC in Super Bowl 51 this next February. Okay? Steelers are pretty good. Are they okay? I don't know. They only have Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. D'Angelo Williams was the league leading rusher going into this week. Their defense is pretty good. Very good offensive line. Coaching staff. Been there, done that before. The Eagles made them look like a bunch of... the Eagles made them look like a worse than the Browns today. All right? Is that... people can say, well, the Steelers weren't on their game. The Eagles still haven't beaten anybody. When is it that people are just going to open the eyes a little bit and see what this team is doing? Open the eyes a little bit. Let's see what they're doing. Denver Broncos, they have a pretty damn good defense, right? They won a Super Bowl last year. Of course they do. Eagles defense have given up fewer points than the Denver defense so far this season. The Eagles defense, through 3 games, have given up 2 touchdowns. One against the Browns, one against the Bears. Okay, they're the JV teams, as Bart Scott likes to say. Well, the Steelers aren't a JV team. The Steelers, no touchdowns with Big Ben and Brown and D'Angelo Williams and company. No touchdowns. 3 points. The Eagles' offense, who people said were not going to be able to score on the Steelers' defense in the red zone. The Steelers' defense is great in the red zone. They're okay between the 20s, but when you get into the red zone, you're not going to score on them. A rookie quarterback isn't going to score on this defense. They're not going to score on this defense. 34 points. Let me repeat the score because I feel I need to some of the haters out there. 34-3. Eagles over Steelers. Don't adjust your sets. You can try to flip the score around because a lot of people probably thought it would be the other way. Right? 34-3 Eagles over Steelers. The Steelers have not won a game in Philadelphia since the Eagles played at Franklin Field. And it continues on. I think it's I think it's so funny. Everyone, the big complaint with people with the Philadelphia fan is we're too negative. We're always negative. You're too negative. You're all a bunch of negative people. How can you always be so negative? So now this past week, since the Monday night win against the Bears, what are people saying? The Philadelphia fans are too positive about the Eagles. They're too positive about Carson Wentz. They're too positive about what they're doing. They haven't played anybody. Wait till they play someone. I don't know. People want us to be neutral all the time. I don't know. Listen, being a fan is short for being a fanatic. And when you're fanatical about something, you're going to have passion. You're going to wear passion on your sleeve, whether it's good or bad. You're going to have it. Last season, you guys saw the other part, the other side, right? Last season, you saw me being miserable. You saw me complaining a lot of times. Maybe not quite the rants like EDP does, which, by the way, no one does better than EDP. But you saw me going off on reasons why I was upset. And one of the big reasons why I was upset last year is because this team did not compete. They had games where they were flat, didn't show up. Meaningful games at the end of the season at home, they didn't show up to. they lost big time. Fans were leaving in the third quarter. Well, it was refreshing today to see fans leaving in the third quarter, but those fans weren't Eagle fans, they were Steeler fans. Crying in their terrible towels. Saying, how is that Carson Wentz? How does he do that? Listen, I think that the kid opened up some eyes tonight. I mean, today you had Phil Simms and Jim Nantz doing the game. And he's opening up their eyes to what he's done. And I'm not saying that it's going to be like this every week, although it's nice to be 3-0. And by the way, Carson, you know how many turnovers he's had so far in his career? 0. Still no interceptions or fumbles. The kid is a winner. And it's like I said last week, it doesn't matter where you play college ball. If you can play this game and you win championships playing this game, you're a winner. You're going to have success. Unless you just don't have a good head on your shoulders, as we've seen other quarterbacks in this league, right? And by the way, us here in Eagle Nation, we've seen our share of those. So it's refreshing to see a kid, albeit that played for North Dakota State, right, come into the league and just get it from day one. First drive in the game is first drive in his career, I should say, is a touchdown drive. And he's followed that up with nothing but playing the position the way a franchise quarterback plays the position. Now, if his receivers would catch a few more passes, he might have a few more touchdowns. I know Dorial Green-Beckham dropped one today in the end zone, but I'll tell you what, man, the other thing I said about this last week, Doug Peterson. This guy is not coaching like a rookie head coach, okay? You talk about the Eagles early in the second half, they get a big turnover. First play after the turnover, they're throwing for a touchdown. They're going for the jugular right there. I loved that. It's like, oh my God, this is what it's supposed to be. Now Green Beckham drops the ball, and good defensive play there, but still, it's like, oh, this is awesome. This is a team that gets it. This is a coaching staff that gets it. This is what it's supposed to be like. So to all those other fans out there in the NFL, particularly those fans in the other three teams in the NFC East, hello everybody, we're back. Did you miss us? Eagles fans, we have a team to be proud of right now. They're 3-0. They're going into a bye week, and then they go to Detroit after that. Now, we might not have Lane Johnson for 10 games, and that's a bit of a worry, certainly, when you lose a starting right tackle. But you can't be anything than proud of how they've played. This team is doing everything that we hoped that they could do. None of us saw this. Okay? But, I mean, you can't ask for a team to do more to start a season than what we've gotten. We've gotten terrific quarterback play. I mean, you talk about a guy that just looks like he's been in the league for years. Years! Beating, defensive... The Steelers have a pretty damn good defense. And he's making them look silly out there. I love what I'm seeing there. I would like them to establish more of a running game, too. But you know what? They had a nice game by another rookie today. Wendell Smallwood scored his first career touchdown. Barner had a touchdown. Haven't seen much of Ryan Matthews today. Darren Sproles, Mighty Mouse. Nice touchdown there on the reception and run. Talk about making a defense look silly. Oh, that was a thing of beauty. That was... the Steeler defenders didn't even know where he was. Just going, where'd he go? Where'd he go? It was awesome. And that was one of the biggest home wins this team has had in a long time. And you talk about that magical word that I've said I'm going to use as the mantra for this season, compete. 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 And that's exactly what they did. Defense balled out. I mean, they're hitting guys left and right. Big Ben did not look comfortable for most of the game. You had Brandon Graham getting to him a few times. Benny Logan. You had Fletcher Cox with a sack there. Great defensive line. I said this going into the year. This is one of the best defensive lines in football. D'Angelo Williams, if Le'Veon Bell did not come back next week off suspension, and Williams had the rest of the season as a start, he'd be a Pro Bowl back. And they made him look silly. I mean, he couldn't do anything versus this defense, and he's a really good back. Couldn't do anything. Probably the best back they've seen all season. Couldn't do anything. Next to nothing. I know Antonio Brown got his catches, got his yards. I figured he would after last week, but didn't find the end zone. And that's the bottom line. Did not find the end zone. Did not find the end zone. The Steelers all game long. The Eagles did. Find the end zone 4 times, 4 different players. Carson Wentz, man, slinging that ball around. No turnovers for this offense through 3 games. Now, that's not going to continue. They'll have some turnovers, I would imagine, before the end of the season. But, man, you can't be anything more than excited and happy. And, you know, we might get criticized for it, but I don't give a damn. Because I've seen this team play the way they played the last few seasons. You know, really the second half of seasons, a couple seasons ago, and then last season, just how horrible it was. And it's like, it's a complete 180. It's night and day different. You know, and it's a long season. There's a lot of time left. You know, through the 3 games does not a season make. But I'll tell you what, I'll take this start over last year any day of the week. They were 1-2 at this time last year. Okay? They're 3-0. And they didn't look as dominant as the last time they looked this dominant was Thanksgiving a couple seasons ago when they blew out Dallas, and it didn't go too well after that. So hopefully that's not a foreshadowing of what's going to happen the rest of this year, and I don't believe it will be, because this defense is coming to play every week, and this offense is coming to play every week. They might not have household names as receivers and all. And let's not forget, the last 2 games they were without Zach Ertz. You know, one of their better young players on this offense, and again, rookie quarterback. Maybe not household name receivers. They're known more for dropping passes than anything else. But, man, guys are coming up to play. And if they can get a running game going, they're going to be that much more dangerous. It's like I said, I can't be more proud of what I'm seeing. And I think that's a word that we got to throw around now, too, the Eagles Nation. Just be proud of them. Be proud of what they've done so far. Because they've given us everything that we wanted through the first 3 weeks, and then some. And there were people who were worried after they traded Bradford, and there were people who were worried about Doug Peterson and worried about Carson Wentz. And I hope some of those worries are kind of going away, because it's like I said before, and I'll say it again, you need the right quarterback for your offense. And they saw that in Carson Wentz. That's why they moved up to get him. Again, thank you, Miami and Cleveland. Thank you. Got our guy. And I've said this before, and I say it again. We have our franchise quarterback in place right now. We got our guy. And, you know, those franchise quarterbacks do not grow on trees. They're hard to get. And when you have one, and you know what it is to have one, to those fan bases who have that, they know. And we're starting to see that. You know, it's been a little while. I mean, it's been a while since McNabb was here. So it's nice to have one of those again. I gotta say, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of how they're competing, how they're playing. They're playing with pride and passion. And this defense is flying around and making plays. I haven't seen this since this guy played, right, Dawkins? We haven't seen this type of defensive effort since Weapon X was on the team. And it's awesome. I mean, this is what it is. You know, you're seeing the aftermath of 3 games now that have been 3 Eagles victories, and this one has been by far the most dominant one. And really all 3 of them have been pretty lopsided if you think about it, but this one just, I mean, who would have thought 34-3 against the Steelers? Certainly not Bart Scott. Certainly not the people in Pittsburgh who were calling, you know, Eagle fans names for being a little excited about our quarterback, although those people in Pittsburgh seem to have short memories, because, you know, they were like this when Roethlisberger first came onto the scene, and that worked out pretty good for them, didn't it? So you must excuse us for being a little excited about our guy. And by the way, they gave the comparisons of Big Ben and Carson Wentz from when they were drafted, about their height and weight. It's almost identical. I'm not calling Carson Wentz Big Ben, but pretty comparable as far as their overall stats for their size and height and everything. They play a different brand of game, but eerily similar. Coming out as a rookie, Carson Wentz compared to Big Ben back those years ago. So yeah, this is another chapter in the Wentz mania that is being an Eagles fan right now. Like I said, I'm not just excited about what Carson's done; it's been awesome, or what Doug Peterson's done; it's been awesome. But just how this defense is playing. I mean, you gotta be excited about this. This was a level up, right? Okay, they weren't playing the Browns or the Bears this week; they were playing the Steelers with Pro Bowl talent all along the line, right? Wide receiver, quarterback, running back, offensive line, a lot of weapons, and they had their best game of the year against that offense. Domination, absolutely dominated them. It's exciting, and we are Eagle Nation. We're a fan base that loves a great defense. I mean, you see a lot of 20s in the crowd when you go to Eagle games. You see a lot of Reggie White jerseys and Jerome Brown and all of them. I mean, we remember these guys. I'm looking at the post-game show right now. I'm seeing Seth Joyner as part of the Eagles post-game show. We remember guys like that. We always have great memories and fond memories of these players that played in this town and did great things. Of course, going even further back to the Bill Bergeys and the Chuck Bednareks. These are the type of players that we love. And we love defenses that play every week, that show up every week and give us the effort that we hope they give us. And we're going to love this defense. And I've said this before, and I said this to the fan bases of the other teams in this division. You might be kind of snickering around about this offense, but the one thing you shouldn't be snickering around about, well, you shouldn't be about this offense either, by the way. Carson Wentz, again, no turnovers on the season. But you shouldn't be snickering about this defense because they're balling every week, and they've gone up against they went up against one of the best offenses in the league right now in the Steelers, and they took them down. They took care of them. So that's the one thing you guys should be a little nervous about there, you Dallas and Redskin and Giant fans out there, is what the Eagles are doing, not just on offense, but what they're doing on defense too. Because as we all know, you don't win without a great defense. I don't care what you have on offense. You don't have that defense, it doesn't matter. And they're building a defense here, and that's something you guys need to start worrying about. Oh, don't worry, you'll see them. You'll see them a couple times this year. Don't you worry. Exciting. There's a lot of excitement right now in Eagles Nation, and rightfully so. We have a team that's 3-0. They're looking great. Can they play like this every week? No. I mean, there's going to be lulls at times, but you know what? It's a lot more. It's just such a great, refreshing feeling to see how they're playing now, opposed to what they were doing a season ago, and it can't be overstated. I mean, this is just night and day better. This is what we wanted to see. This is what we were upset that we didn't have before, and boy, we have it now. And it's great to watch a team like this. As a fan base, we deserve this. And like I said, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of how they played today, because they had to hear it too. I'm sure they heard it from all the people. Oh, you haven't played anybody. The Browns and the Bears. Who are they? Who are they? You haven't played anybody. Well, they played someone today, and I think they served notice, and they proved that, it's a different Eagles team now. It's a different Eagles team now, and it's exciting. It really is. There's a lot of rebuild going on in Philadelphia right now. We know that about the Phillies. We know that about the Sixers, the Flyers even, and the Eagles. And for that, to have them play the way they have through the first 3 games, it's awesome. Because we really haven't had a whole lot around here in recent years. So this is great. This is a tremendous thing. I know Villanova won the national championship, and that was certainly awesome. But as far as a pro team goes, this is great. Now let's not have a letdown now, okay? Get through the bye week, and then it's off to Detroit in week 4, the Motor City take on those Lions, and that should be a pretty good contest too. So Eagles win 34-3 against the Steelers. Let me repeat that score for you pundits out there who kept going on about how the Eagles didn't beat anybody. Maybe they still haven't beat any. I don't know. At that score, maybe they still haven't beaten anybody. But 34-3. Eagles win. They demolish the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steeler fans can now go back to Pittsburgh. And thank you for visiting Wencedelphia. I do want to end this on a somber note, and that's the passing of Jose Fernandez, who was a great young pitcher on the Miami Marlins, who we certainly have seen here in Philly, with the Phillies, against the Phillies, and he was a tremendous young pitcher, and he was also a tremendous young person. He just loved life. He was just very excited and very humble about a lot of things. Whenever he was pitching, even if it wasn't against the Phillies, I would watch as many of the games that he was starting as I could, because I liked him. I thought he was a very good young pitcher. He had great stuff. Came off the Tommy John injury. Was pitching great. He was excitable. I mean, he was infectious, as the saying is. He had a love for the game and a love for what he did, more so than you see a lot of pitchers on the mound with the grimaces and the, just the, that kind of scowl. Some of them will give you, and he was just a very, passionate person about what he did, and he loved what he did, and he represented Miami very well. He was a huge fan favorite there, of course, Cuban born, just a tremendous career ahead of him too. I mean, who knows how the career would have gone? Sometimes you just never know, but it just seemed like he was going to be a great, one of the greats, one of the great pitchers. Power arm, just an excitable person, had a love of the game. And, it doesn't matter what team you're a fan of. You see a kid with that type of passion and that type of love for what he does, it makes you a fan of him. I'm a Phillies fan. The Marlins are a rival in the division. And I was excited watching this kid pitch, when he was on TV, just the love that he had for it. It made you a fan, and I certainly he was one of my favorite pitchers, current pitchers, just because of his infectious nature, that love that he had of what he did, and the passion that he brought every time he pitched. But he also seemed to have a real good head on his shoulders. He didn't seem to be someone who felt he was bigger than everyone else. He was humble, but he was also just he just seemed to love life. He passed away last night in a boating accident, and anytime there's a loss of life, it's a sad thing. It really is. And, but when you lose someone who just seemed to have that much love of life and that much passion in everything he did, it really does hit you. And again, I'm not a Marlins fan. I'm a Phillies fan. But we all lost a really great young person in Jose Fernandez. And my heart and prayers go out to the Fernandez family, and also to the Marlins fans out there. In Philadelphia, we lost players when I was really young. Pelly Lindbergh, Jerome Brown. I can't quite say I followed them throughout their careers because I was very young for them. I certainly know what they meant to the franchises. Um, so can't say, as a fan of a Philadelphia team, that I could really know exactly what it's like to lose a player to death um, when they're so young and just really starting to put their footprint on your franchise. Um, and I certainly, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan of these teams, these four teams. It's hard to be a fan of our teams, but I am, and I know how I would feel if we lost one of our young budding superstars, and not just for them being a player, but as a human being. Um, and I certainly want to reach out my condolences to all of you, to the people of Miami, to the people of Cuba, to the Jose Fernandez fans around the world. Um, Let him rest in peace and continue to have that passion where he is now. Um, and it's a really sad thing. It really is. It was something that I saw the thing go across on ESPN. I couldn't believe it. He's 24 years old, and it goes to show, we're all fans of our teams, and there's a lot of fun back and forth banter, but it goes to show how precious life is, and it goes to show how you got to live every day, and just love it, and be thankful for every day and every minute that you have. And again, I just wanted to finish this video with that, and I didn't want to go too long with that, but it was just tremendously sad news this morning to hear that, and more so just because of not just as a great player that he was, but what a great person he was, and he meant so much to that community, and I can only imagine what it's like, what they're going through today in Miami. I honestly, I feel bad. I really do. I feel bad for the fans there. And I know time heals all wounds, but know that we're all there with you. Um, you know, he was a tremendous player, and he was a tremendous person, and the memory and his spirit will always live on with those who we touched and with the organization there in Miami. So I just wanted to finish the video with this. Rest in peace to Jose Fernandez. And condolences once again to his family and to the fans in Miami. So that's going to do it. A little somber way to end this video. Season number 3 for season 3. Week number 3. Lots of threes, which is the amount of points the Steelers scored today. Yeah, lots of threes there, but Eagles are 3-0, and after the bye week in week 4, week 5, they take on the Lions in Detroit, and boy, it's nice to be 3-0 going into the bye, and what a win that was today. Shout out to all the Eagles out there. Great game, guys. Just keep it up. You guys have been tremendous so far. This fan base is lie dormant a little bit. Going through the rough patch of the those last couple seasons, it's been tough. So to start like this is just, it is so much better. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it for me. Shout outs to all who watch my videos here, my series. Shout outs to the rest of the Eagles Nation, of course. I'm sure you guys and gals out there will be putting up the videos of jubilation and celebration. The Eagles are 3-0, looking dominant, looking like one of the more dominant teams in the league after 3 games, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, Eagles win. As always, go Birds. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Probably not going to have another video for the Season of the Fan series until week 5 going into the Detroit game. I might do a video next weekend, just a little wrap-up of the first 3 games, and then looking ahead to what the rest of the season might hold, particularly the near future with the Detroit game. I guess that's going to do it for me. So, all right, everyone, thanks for watching. And as always, go Birds. I'll see you in the next one. All right, everyone, take care.